very much. Woohoo! Speech number 10. Big round of applause for Catherine. A major milestone, and congratulations, Catherine. Catherine, you did a fantastic job in speech. Of course, you know that. I'm not telling you anything that you don't know. This is a difficult speech to do. This is speech number 10. And the purpose behind speech number 10 is to actually inspire your audience, which is sort of a tricky word to get your hands around. I mean, inspire, what does that actually mean? I think what it means is that you have to be able to reach inside of your audience and actually change the way they see the world. Okay? That's an awful lot to ask from a 7 to 10 minute speech, right? But, you know, that's fine. You stepped up to it. I think you picked a great topic. Okay? I mean, obviously it's an extraordinarily personal topic. You opened up and shared with us, and thank you so much for doing that. Okay? This is the kind of speech I personally would not feel comfortable doing. This is not something that I can really pony up to do. You did an excellent job of it, so I'm deeply, deeply impressed on it. A couple of quick points on it. You had a fair amount of head turn. Now we're divided into sort of two groups here, and so I saw a lot of rotation on the head as you attempted to make eye contact with one side and then eye contact with the other side, which is fine. But the problem is you probably need to dwell more on somebody that you're so that we wouldn't get quite the robot head turning stuff. Your opening was okay, but for an inspirational speech, I needed more. I needed you to absolutely grab me. You had to grab me from the beginning and not let me go. You did a great job of using pauses, and I think in a dramatic speech like this, a pause is incredibly powerful because it allows things to build up. You did a great job on hand gestures. I don't think those are necessarily easy to do, but I noticed that at several points in time you were actually working your hands into your speech. So congratulations, fantastic job on that. The one thing that I want to leave you with is I think you were missing some punch to your story because of the organization of it. As you revealed more of the story to it, there was fantastic parts to that. I want to present to you a possible different way to organize your story, not necessarily the right way, but one thing you didn't tell us about was your full life before the disease was diagnosed. I know from other speeches that you've given, you traveled, you did fantastic, normal things. You had a full life. And then I think, and once again, I'm only putting words in your mouth, I think when the diagnosis came, that must have been a crushing blow. You're a very happy and optimistic person, right? You're like, wow, that's a bummer, but you know, we're going, you know, no way! You know, the weeks and months after that had to be a deep pit of despair. And if you can bring your audience, because we can all feel that, we understand where you're going from, if you can bring us into that pit of despair. You mentioned that you left your job. Well, there had to be some decisions that had gone up to it that caused you to make that decision. Okay, now you didn't share that with us, you told us you left, but there had to be some, so take us down into the pit, make us feel what you were feeling. There must have been a tipping point at some point in time when you were in the pit. Somehow you decided, I'm not going to let this rule my life. I am going to regain happiness, and clearly you're a happy person. And somehow you started to crawl out of that pit. The swimming story is a fantastic story. And that's a great story to tell in that ramp up, right? To say, listen, what was I going to do? So I took up swimming. Okay, I shouldn't have been able to swim, but I did, and but this amazing thing has happened, and make that swimming story sort of be that, yay, we're all coming along with you. We're out of the pit, and we're coming out of the pit, and then end with a picture of the future. And look, you know, this is where I was, which was really bad. This is how I've gotten to where I am today, and the future for me is limitless. You know, something along those lines, and pow, we're right there with you. And we're all crying and cheering, and just bring some Kleenex along and stuff like that. Once again, you've got the raw material here, fantastic. I think a little rearrangement, and you've got a killer speech. Thank you very much, Mr. General Value.
Thank you. Take a minute to comment on that evaluation. And